Mmm. That is so calming and so delicious. You just have to try it. Really, really scrumptious. Hi everyone. Today I'm going to cook you another recipe from my novel To Lahore with Love. Today's recipe is going to be the sublime and delicious Lose Your Rage Chicken Korma. I will show you. It's in here on page, I'll show you the index. It's this one here, Lose Your Rage Chicken Korma, on page 53. But the big advantage is that I have included the actual recipe in more detail at the back in case you actually wanted to try to cook it. The concept in the novel is that Addie Mayford, the protagonist, believes that her cookery can change outcomes and she can influence people. And of course, this chicken korma is designed to calm people down and have them lose their rage. It's not a traditional chicken korma, but it's a very special recipe for me because it's the way that my mother would cook chicken korma for me when I was young. And it is truly the most sublime and delicious chicken korma you can imagine. And it's quite easy. So let me first of all show you the ingredients. You will see over here the chicken, the measurements if you would like are in the book, but you can see it's a good few chunks, 7 or 8 chunks. I'm going to be lazy and use frozen garlic here. You need yogurt, and in terms of some of these more detailed ingredients, I'll show you here. We have garam masala, which is really very simple, nothing to be nervous or afraid of, because you've got some cumin seeds, some cinnamon, some cloves, some black peppers, and some big cardamoms, which are not the little green ones, but dark black, shriveled, ugly looking things. And then in terms of the powdered spices, salt, some chili powder, and this is the magic. It is ground coriander, and as you can see, I put a generous 2 dessert spoons or tablespoons in. This is what makes all the difference. Of course, you also need the chopped onions. Right, so to begin, let's switch on the hob so we can heat up the oil. Now I like to use olive oil, which I've got here. You need a good amount. Don't be not over the top, but be fairly generous because it forms a wonderful base. Then, being slightly cheeky, I'm going to use a little bit of butter as well. It just adds a bit of a rich flavour. So I've got a little bit here that you can see, and I'm going to include that. Now the point of this is that we're going to fry the onions. Right, so let's let those fry. It looks like to me that I need a bit more oil, just looking at how that looks. You can see you want it to have enough oil to be able to fry, and so if you see that there isn't enough, you can very easily just add a bit more. I want a proper fry on these onions. While the onions are frying, I'm going to read you a little bit from the novel. The taste. Simple comfort, mind-blowing flavour like affection in a warm and meaty gravy. The artistry, the power of one particular spice, ground coriander, to singularly transform. The purpose? To instill deep calm and peace so the fires of rage die down. Be warned, unlikely friendships may form. Right, so I think we're getting there. Oh, we are. On the onions, it's almost slightly burning there, but I've turned it down. This gives you an idea of just how much you do actually need to brown the onions. You do need to keep going because sometimes it's important to not have the hob too hot, because as you can see, there's a couple here that want to burn and the rest aren't even done. But we're getting there, we're not far off. The key is not to go over the top. Now, because I've actually got frozen garlic, I'm going to put the frozen garlic in now because it needs to defrost. These are available, these frozen chunks of garlic are available in Indian, Pakistani, Asian shops, and also in sometimes in Chinese type shops. So here we go, stir that about, you can see that coming together nicely. They're also largely available in mainstream grocery stores, so you should be able to get some. I find it incredibly useful because sometimes you don't want to chop garlic or peel garlic. Now, there is a choice here. Some people like to brown the onions quite a lot. Some people like to just soften the onions. So meanwhile, while the onions were starting to brown, I've just put the rice on the hob so that we've got some basmati rice to have with this. This is now perfect. You'll see that the onions are now nice and golden, but they're not too dark. So at this point, what we do is basically throw everything in, and I will show you. So we've got the chicken. We put in all of these wonderful whole spices I went through with you, and we put in the powders, including salt. It's that simple. And you stir it about. Now just give that a bit of time to brown, just to seal the skin, the outer layer of the chicken, like this. And it really is that simple. This step is actually quite important. It's what we call bhuning in Pakistan, and bhuning is a sort of aggressive frying, a bit like you see in woks, but only woks are very quick. With bhuning in this sort of cookery, you actually do it for quite a while, and the idea is that the spices actually cook a little as well. We're now at a point where it's had a good fry, and actually if you want to, you can keep frying it a bit more like this. The more you do, it actually gets better and better, but I think it's enough now for me to now put the yogurt in. So that's what I'll do next. So now that I've put the yogurt in, it's a good idea to fry it for quite a long time to try and enable all the spices and the flavours to meld. And I can tell you one thing, there is a magic in these whole spices. You'll be really surprised how powders are quite imprecise, but somehow or other, if you use whole spices the way I just showed you, the flavour is always so incredible. I think it's more of an infusion rather than having ground spices. So now that this is fried quite a lot, as you can see, and you can keep going a bit more if you wanted to fry it further, because the more you do, the more flavoursome it gets. It's now time to put some boiling water in, so I'll just do that now. So you'll see here now, I put in some boiling water, enough to just nearly cover the chicken pieces. And then what you do is you just give it a good stir so all the spices and the yogurt are all mixed together, and then try to bury some of the chunks where possible, but it doesn't have to be fully buried because there might be too much water then. Put the lid on and let that cook. Now it's a good idea to let it come to a boil, which it's doing now, and then just turn it right down so it simmers till the chicken is cooked, and I will show you the result shortly. So now I'm going to serve it up and show you just how delicious it is. Wait till you take a bite of this. basmati rice, which is just leagues ahead of any other rice option. And then I have a piece of chicken here, chicken leg, some sauce. Now I like it quite liquidy. You may choose to have it thicker, and all you need to do is put slightly less water in. Now you can see how gorgeous that looks, and I'm going to take a bite and see what I think. By the way, you can have this with a char or an onion salad. That is so calming and so delicious. You just have to try it.